Welcome back to the Joseph Family Devotions. Last week we started to think about God's promises. Remember his promises to Abraham and Jacob about land and offspring and blessing. His promises to Joseph through dreams that he would rule over his family. And his brothers who started to hate him because he got given that ornate robe. And because of the dreams, they were jealous. Now I hope you've watched the next reading. It's a fun one. But this week we see Joseph stuck in a big old pit because of his brothers. So I went to the pit. I used a special time machine. I went to the pit to see what's up, to see what happened to Joseph. So I'm going to go to the pit now. Here we go. So here we are at the pit where Joseph is. Hey Joseph, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey Joseph,
Hello.
why are you in the pit?
I don't know. I don't think my brothers like the dreams I told them.
But I thought you were going to be king. I thought God told you were going to rule.
Yeah, I mean, I thought so too, but...
Sorry?
I thought so too, but I don't know what's going on now.
Well, it doesn't look very likely now, does it?
I guess you could say that.
No, well, I've got to go. There's some weird guys coming who look like they might be the slave traders,
great.
but
No,
I've got to go. Oh, God!
Oh, here you are. Hello.
Oh, here we go. Back here. We're back in 2020. That really was the pit that Joseph fell into. Honestly, yeah, 100%. That was definitely the pit that Joseph fell into. But imagine if you were Joseph. Imagine if you were really thrown into a pit and then sold into slavery by your own brothers. He would have been scared. And I think he would have questioned God's promises. Don't you? He'd have thought, I thought I was going to be ruling over my brothers. But now I'm in a pit. And now I've been sold into slavery. Doesn't seem like God is going to keep his promises, does it? And I wonder if you've ever been so scared that you thought maybe that God wasn't in control. You've been so scared or so uncertain that you think that God's promises can't come true. Or maybe that God isn't even there. See, this story, Joseph is in a really, really, really bad situation, isn't he? It's really tragic. It looks like God's promises are dead. And that Joseph isn't going to rule over his family. Maybe all of God's promises are not going to work. His promises to Jacob's family, that he'll have land and offspring and blessing, maybe it's all just a lie. But that's not the end of the story. If you notice at the end of the reading, Joseph was sold into Egypt, was sold to Potiphar, who was a member of the captain's guard, who worked for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. He was sent to Egypt, and Egypt is where all of Joseph's dreams come true. It's where we see everything happen just as God said it would. So that's really exciting. So that's like a little bit of light, a little glimmer of light in the door. Because when Joseph's in the pit, it doesn't look like God's going to keep his promises. But even then, even in all of that, God is still in control. He's still king over the whole world. He still keeps his promises. So I wonder what you feel like when you're out of control. Maybe you think that God's promises aren't going to happen. What about with the virus, with school shutting down? Did you think God was still in control? Or even now, life isn't back to normal. Is God still in control? When really bad things happen with your family or friends, is God still in control? What about his promises? To love you always, to be with you always, to have a place for you to be forever in heaven with him. Are those promises still going to happen? Yes. However hard it gets, God is still in control. And nothing, not even human wickedness, can stop God's promises from coming true. Nothing, not even human wickedness, can stop God's promises coming true. Joseph's brothers couldn't stop it. nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop it for you either. God will always still love you. God will always be there for you. God will have a place for you in heaven forever with Jesus. So if you're a Christian, if you trust Jesus, that is true for you. God's promises will happen. Because even when it doesn't feel like it, God is in control. Not even human wickedness can stop God's promises from coming true.